Treason
Hello.
is the reason for the season.
God damn it, Josiah.
It can't be treason if there are no leaders.
That's a hot take, and I agree, because it serves my needs.
Good. I agree with that, because it's what I wanted to hear.
Your hatred.
Hello, and welcome to Treason Sesh.
I was gonna say, it's when someone says something in a way that you're like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense, but I'll agree with it because I agree with what the outcome is.
That's this party.
Welcome to religion.
Wait a minute!
Hang
on just a dang old second there.
You can't say that on Twitch.tv.
Oh,
Right.
it's gonna be a warm day today. I just looked at the weather and it was like, it's a little toasty in here.
Finally got to winter temperatures in the UK. And in very UK fashion, it was lovely yesterday, and now it's, it was 3 degrees C today.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
still 90 degrees today. It's still hot. I'm actually cold right now, though.
It's been around 7 degrees Celsius here for the last little while.
That's nice.
Which is like a really good temperature.
I'm
guess it
out
is
7C
was-
is like probably optimal temperature. Maybe
It's
a
in
little
the
too
ideal
low
range.
nowadays, but it's in the ideal
Between-
biodome range.
Between 5 to 15, I am super content. With that being the external temperature, and then the internal being between like 12 and 25.
That sounds
I'm a happy
amazing.
camper.
It's also 7 degrees here.
It was in the high
Nice.
30s and ended up being like 36, and then it went down over the weekend. But like my house is only just cooling down, and now I'm looking at this week. It's like, oh, back to the 30s again, and it's it's just gonna get worse from here.
Back to
So
the 30s.
go
Your
Team
flappers.
Canada with our 7 degrees Celsius delightful weather.
Yeah.
My coffee has been consumed and I am ready to dungeon master.
Good.
So, last session, the High Palace exploded.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
The city of
Oh,
Narashiro has
Was that
fallen to pandemonium. All while you were chasing a body that fell from the sky, which turned out to be the Shogun, the Mad Priestess, transformed into some terrible creature.
Terrible.
Terrifile. Terrible
I don't know what you're
creature
into.
chasing a terrible creature and was following some amulet, which nearly killed you, then you nearly killed it, and it got away much faster than a lot of you.
That's a tomorrow problem.
That is a problem for later people.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now the city of Narashiro is splintered. Not in civil war. Seeing the high city erupt into a giant explosion has left it a little more... If it's a civil war, it's a civil Cold War. You know? There's a bit of an
It's
understanding
building up
to
to
people what's
something.
going on. Yeah, it's not like things immediately erupted into complete chaos. As we set up last time, there's a couple of places where people are banding together. The city itself isn't incredibly damaged. It's actually the higher parts of the city which are damaged by the explosion because some kind of magical seal kept most of the rubble of the explosion at bay. But socially, a couple of groups have formed of people working together because a lot of government-run things like food and shelter and guards are not reliable anymore. So while there are a little bit of rioting and things like that, it's not, I wouldn't call a civil war. But as Tesh said, not yet. Who knows what could happen? Especially when you're playing several sides. With Commander Kato having the largest chunk of the military and the church. And believing you quite well to be on her side. While Voss...
I am.
creates his own faction around his school, and Rakaf has his own faction of the Torturer's Tavern.
To be fair, that faction I am pulling on to Kato's side tonight because I don't know what the fuck Voss is doing.
Okay.
So sorry.
Voss has yet to inform the rest of us.
Yeah.
I feel you had a conversation with Voss, but it was the Voss's final Sith evolution has not become clear yet to them.
Yeah.
You were my brother, Voss.
Voss started as a Sith, and he will end as a Sith.
My God, I really want to see just an epic fight of like falling rubble between Kato and Voss. Just with the right appropriate music playing, it'd be great.
Even though it should be whatever the song is, because I don't remember what it's called, between when it's the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah.
It's going to be Duel of Fates.
Exactly.
Duel of Fates,
It should
that's
be
the
the
one.
It
Duel of
has
Fates.
to be Duel of
It has
Fates.
to be Duel of
The
Fates.
one
like
between
a melodica version.
No, just straight Duel of Fates. We're ripping it off straight up.
Rofi's just to the side.
It's a
like he's
bad
got
MIDI.
keyboard.
Oh God! Someone multi-classing a bird.
a really crusty,
Look,
crusty
it may
Star
yet happen.
Wars MIDI. That's what we want.
Yeah. I especially since Kato uses a quarterstaff, it just makes so much sense for it to be Duel of Fates.
She uses an eighth staff, if anything.
Okay.
It's a small
Cane.
roll.
Yeah. She needs to work on that. Her police baton is too small.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
You get it. You finally get the reference.
I just want it to be a double-bladed lightsaber.
If I remember correctly, we pretty much ended on an exposition dump of what was happening in the city. In enough time for when you awaken the next morning, you can really do whatever you want. You did find a body killed in the high city. So that is a very good thing to investigate. If you care about what happened up there, Kato has a theory that it's the ancient evil enemy of the usurper elves, the sun elves. But
Yeah, I have a big old sword that seems to be indicating towards that too.
But that's the only piece of proof there is, because the battle happened entirely in the high city, and she wasn't there. She was with you.
Yes.
To be fair, I just took her word for it. I didn't even think about questioning it
I mean, yeah.
I also
until Ollie phrased it like that.
so if she's wanting to utilize that as evidence, she's gonna have to get it from me, which is gonna be interesting. Well, I would have slept at home. I wouldn't have slept at the torture.
Yeah, you guys are back home, wherever home may be. Which means I'm going to assume Voss stayed at his school/refugee camp.
Unless stated otherwise, I'm spending all of my time at the school training people and just trying to
So
convince
just
other people to be better versions of themselves.
of note, your fiance didn't come back after this horrifying.
I mean, but he does that every now and then. It was my
I
plan
also-
going forward to spend half my time at the school and half my time at home.
Okay, that's
I also
very
did-
responsible of you as a partner.
I also did go visit Voss at the school and would have told when I came back that Voss was hanging out
I
at the
know.
school.
I just wanted to see
Come
the
on
sows
now.
of drama, but cannot be done.
I would have.
He didn't
Loaded-
spend the night with Kato. It's fine.
Said it
Or
with
Yuna's
Okiwa.
mother. Nah, she doesn't have hands.
She has hands. Just one
She
of them
sort
is a
of
little-
has hands.
one of them is a
her hands
little-
is attached well. One of them is not
She has
attached.
special hands.
She has, and. Okay.
What are you doing?
I was just saying, overnight I would have loaded twinification in.
Preparing
Once I
your
finish
gun.
observing. Yep.
Oh man, city's gone to shit. Let me get my gun.
There, she was haunted.
Narashiro is haunted. What, Rofi? Narashiro is haunted.
That is very good. I will allow it.
Yuna, shall we go talk to the dead?
Oh, can we?
Well, there's one in particular that I think
You
would be
didn't
good
tell
to
me you found a body.
No, I didn't. I wanted to surprise you this morning. It's always very exciting.
Okay, let's go.
I should show you something first.
And I take out the big old bastard sword That's kind of a little bit.
I take out the big old
where I am
bastard.
Oh, it's hideous. What is it?
This was stabbed into the body that we found. I found. No one else gets credit for that. I usually give credit to everybody, but in this case, that was me.
Would I be here at this time?
If
Are
you
doing
wanna
this,
be.
like at breakfast or something.
Yeah.
If
I'm at the breakfast table
anything
eating food.
that happens in the house, you can pretty much have agency to be or not be. I have to do the same with Jericho. He can sometimes just roll into any conversation he wants to.
I might be able to do something with this. And he's gonna set it down and do this with.
Taking your time.
Pardon?
Are you taking your time?
No, I can't do it that way. I do it quickly. I do it quickly and it costs a lot.
Okay.
The pearl isn't consumed, though.
Yeah, the pearl isn't.
No, I have to use prep points to do it this way.
I
'Cause
understand.
yeah.
Okay.
Take out your little eyeglass.
Little monocle, yeah.
Look over the thing, which is painful to look at for all of you. Rakaf the least.
Especially me.
Especially you. There is nothing. This is not a magical weapon. The process to forge it was magical. Similar to a lot of dark elf materials, magic was used in the forging process to make it much more useful. Because most of this blade is gold. Gold is not a good material for making weapons or armor. The magic, which is very old, very ancient magic, even to you, a fae, where most magic is old and ancient. This is older and ancient, more ancient than anything you have seen before in the magic folded into the blade.
Damn. I would also relay all of this with one eye closed, whichever eye I had the monocle on, because I'm letting that heal for a while.
Yeah. The other thing of note that I'll give you with identify is that the blade is almost designed in such a way so that someone could channel their magic through it quite easily.
Ooh, okay.
It seems like it has been customized in such a way that it interacts with one person's magic in a way that a paladin or a sorcerer would, most specifically.
Interesting.
It's very, very unique.
And you would understand this as most likely being sun magic, because you do know what the sun is, because you have been on the surface at points in your life. Not this surface, the Feywild, but still. A surface where sun existed and everyone hated it.
So I would relay that this is definitely sun magic related. Specifically. It's very interesting. We could learn a lot about this, but also...
Alternatively, we should hide it away.
Why?
Because information. This is the only evidence that there are Sun Elf interferers.
Right. Yes. Well, what are we doing about all of this? And he's sort of gesturing around to just like everything in every direction.
Voss is still at the school. There are... Well, you know what? Let me give you a recount of this situation. Kato and the nobles are in the upper district currently.
He pulls out his notes he was making last night. Yep, that checks out.
And they currently have that body that you and I are going to go and speak to. Voss has some of the guard and some locals, as well as the alchemists in the schooling district. I call it the schooling district now because I don't actually remember what it's called. But that's okay. You know where Voss's school is.
It was the herbalist district, but
Thank you.
Yeah.
most of the districts, like gardens and herbalisms, they were one of the most damaged parts. Because
It's the schooling district now because
actually
there's
had-
only a school there.
it actually had a good view of the sky, which was great for growing plants, but not when things are falling out of the
Right,
sky.
yes.
So it's quite badly damaged.
Now the schooling district, once the herbalism district. I have gathered a group of talented individuals down at the Torturous Tavern They are ready to work with me as soon as I go back down there. I've heard tell that there are some individuals quelling riots in the manufacturing and farming districts. I don't know really what that's about, other than that I've heard whispers that it might be part of the Slave Keepers Guild, but I don't know what that is. I should probably know what that is, but I don't. And then there appears to be still some of the slave army and the weavers, if I remember their name correctly, still in pockets around the manufacturing and farming districts. So there's a lot going on. On top of that, there are also the Shitteen, who weep at Rofi, who are climbing up and taking over parts and killing civilians. My take at this point is that despite the fact that the Shitteen are probably the lowest threat to the actual sanctity of the city, we should probably deal with them first. But I would like to get other people to deal with them if possible, so we can deal with the rest of this situation.
He'll like think for like a fairly long compared to what you normally see him like. He'll normally just immediately start rattling stuff and then just, yeah. We also need to worry about fighting.
Rofi for a moment here.
Sure.
Yes.
You're acting fucking
Tesh can
weird.
decide whether it's a success or not.
14?
I'll say he's very. It didn't pop up, but it doesn't matter. 14. So he's. You can tell he's trying to remember something he's kind of forcefully forgot, and he's remembering things further back than he seems to normally do. And he'll just sort of sit there and we need to have as minimal fighting as possible. So early eradication of these things is probably a good idea.
You're speaking from experience.
Yes, it's not the first city fall I've been through.
Well, hopefully this won't be the fall of a city.
Yes. Hopefully.
Structures, political or otherwise, may fall, but the people won't.
Good.
I'm gonna give
Help in any
Brooke
way
a
I
little
can.
pat on the head.
We should go talk to that dead body, Yuna. I think that will give us some sway on getting Kato to send some troops down to deal with the Shitteen.
Yes, let's go.
Rofi, would you like to come
Yeah.
along?
Yes.
Yes. Climb on!
And up we go.
Are you gonna grab Voss or let Voss do his thing?
Gonna let Voss do his thing.
All right. Josiah, I hope
this
you
is-
enjoy watching a lot of stuff this session because
Yeah, I
Voss
can't wait.
is being shady in his own business.
You could have spent longer having your poop. I'm sorry.
I'm not even
It's
being
not-
shady. Everything is extremely apparent to what I'm doing.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
well,
you're not
it by definition, it is shady. You are a shadow sorcerer.
That is true. You got
Makes
me
a
there.
valid point, honestly.
So, you guys go up to the,
Actually,
Full of
Voss,
note.
you have the other sending stone, don't you?
yes, you gave it to him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
On that last visit at the end of last session, you gave it to him.
That's what I- that's what I
remember.
Okay,
thought,
I have the other one then.
You have the other one right now? We should at least let Voss know where we're going.
That
Oh,
is
okay.
a use of a one-a-day sending stone.
Yes, it is. Either that or we could just walk there first and let him know.
I mean, that would probably be the smart thing to
Look,
do.
walking is just so
Isn't it
difficult.
on the way?
Yes.
You can make it on the way, yeah.
Then yeah, let's do that instead of wasting our once a day emergency line.
I guess.
I encourage you wasting all your precious resources as much as any other DM does. But
All right.
you are smart. You go on the
We're gonna
way
Stop on the way.
to update him. This doesn't require much leaning on, much detail, because really you're just going, we're going up here. But what is of note, because Rakaf's the only person who went here before, is how damaged this part of the city is compared to everywhere else you've been. Like, big chunks of very ornate church have fallen onto the platforms and walkways that make this part of the city, which has made it this smoldering ruin. Can you guys give me Arcana checks, please? And Voss, you can also do this because you live here.
Great.
Yeah.
Goodness for you two.
The mages succeed! Something that you would notice when you leave the house is that if you look up, there is still... It's almost like a storm where the High City was in that crater of Aether magic.
Oh dear.
And you're not really sure what's going to happen about that sort of thing. Usually the arcane magic that you've been messing around with kind of dissipates. This isn't. But there was a lot, if that makes sense. If what was happening, it was exactly what you thought was happening. When you're going through the ruined herbalism district, where Voss's school is, some of the chunks of ruin have some of this like aether light radiating from them, wisping around them. They are so, assumedly so closely inside of where the explosion occurred. And you even vaguely recognize some of the, architecture from when you were, especially when Yuna went to pretty much the center of the High City. Like, you recognize chunks of these buildings that were clearly in the center of the explosion.
Can I try and, one, take a sample of a bit of building that has actually got all this stuff around it, and two, try and capture some of that energy? And if I have to, I will use one of my spell storing slots.
If you want to use one of your spell storing slots, that would make sense. Yes.
Yeah, I will try that then.
And please give me a intelligence spellcasting roll.
Okay, just intelligence or?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
wow.
that'll do. You go up to you go up to one and try to take a little chip off the edge of the building, off the ivory marble of this beautiful artwork that is all fractured apart, which is almost makes it more beautiful in a very dark elf way. You take a little chip and you see all the magic kind of floating around grow much stronger and actually kind of form a bubble that kind of launches you back. You're not harmed by it because Rofi is an incredibly tough little dude. You are like launched up against a wall with like a smoke trail and all that. But it's going to take more than that to take a little sample. Although Rofi is basically always in a hazmat suit, so he is like half the way there. But
okay, so I'll mark that as spell storage slot is gone for today then.
No, you didn't use it.
Oh no, I didn't use it. Okay, cool. And yeah, it's just interesting. We should tell people to avoid these. They might be dangerous.
Oh, how fun. Also, while we're here, I'm just saying, this place is really badly damaged, a lot of people left, there's a lot of herbalism stuff around here that we could use for the garden. I'm not saying we steal all this stuff, I'm just saying that we reclaim some of it for use.
Looting.
Yeah, that's good? Okay, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah, we ain't stopping you. We'll help you, but we're like, we have no opinion on this.
That's kind of a job for a downtime job for you or your employees.
Yeah.
Employees.
Yeah, for what it's worth, when you guys come and tell me what you're doing, like I will absolutely go with you. Like,
Yeah, we're on
which
our
is
way
great.
to go get you.
Which means Voss doesn't react to Rofi exploding. That's good to know.
At all.
Yeah.
This is commonplace. We expect
I know, but I wanted to draw light on it. You head up to the Noble District, where, aside from the kind of camp that's been made, there's a large camp with the spider silk webbing over the roof. Things seem pretty fine. A lot of the buildings still have, light in the windows. The most badly damaged buildings are no longer on fire or anything like that. Giant spiders are going between buildings, like where there's there would be structural weakness. Webbing is kind of keeping that together until they can rebuild it more finally. The church is doing very well with their spider summoning abilities to keep things going pretty well. So
Not disconcerting.
when you arrive...
I'm gonna let the party know that in my downtime I fully intend to just fuck with them a little bit, just to make sure that they fully destroy themselves from the inside out. Are we okay with that?
Sure.
Wait,
I'm
wait.
still holding on to those encoded thoughts, but I don't know.
Wait,
those
I
dissipate
missed
after
the start
time?
of that, I think.
I had to recast the cantrip, I'm pretty sure, just to keep it up.
Okay. Because, like, I've listened to those thoughts. I'm okay with you just destroying them now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
you
talking about
got what you need.
just the church. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's quite clear that this faction is, while it isn't the church, it is Kato. Kato was a paladin of the church, so she has a huge amount of sway with the church. I think if I remember correctly, pretty much every faction, aside from like the Torturous Tavern, has church members in it, because the church doesn't have its own faction, because the church itself is self-destructing right now. Which is why it's kind of not... I'm not mentioning it as a faction, because they have such a large area that they can fight in amongst themselves that it's almost irrelevant to everyone else. You could have a whole campaign on its own going on down there right now. So yeah, you get here, you guys aren't bothered. There's the largest amount of guard that you've seen in the area that are keeping the peace. There are people who are being strung up for looting and similar things, being lashed, you know, strung up by their legs and lashed
That's
by
very
people.
excessive. Can I just say, I don't really understand the morals of our society.
Wait a minute.
I think we can all agree it's a little weird. Okay, well, we noted that. Let's.
I would like it on record. You get to
go
Kato's. Yeah, Kato's little space, I suppose, of maps and tables and plans and things. She's essentially moved into that antiquities shop that she was in last time with old Rakath. Because as things have kind of recovered over the cycle, her and her planning and her organizing of other paladins have moved there. Yeah, I was trying to think if there's anything really of note of the sort of paladins you'd see around her. The armors are a bit of a hodgepodge, but they haven't really gone so far as to form any other armoring, any other decals or anything. The people you're seeing around here are a mixture of the ivory white of the church, the pale stone blue of the Daimau's personal soldiers, which Kato is one of them. Her armor's kind of got bits of both. And the very, very deep navy blue, almost black, of the sort of city defense armies. And occasionally some people, occasionally you see soldiers wearing green of the Serpent Church, which is very weird. The fact that you're seeing so many of them here is mildly notable because they were, the Church of Healing. Of course they had samurais and assassins like everyone else, every other respectable society, company in Narashiro, but you didn't see them. So it's a hodgepodge of militaries, which really all should have been connected anyway, but they kind of weren't. Kato would allow you in and bring you through to where the body is, and would just sort of nod. She doesn't have anything specific to say to you. She knows exactly why you're here. And most things were said last time.
It's just Kato in here? Kato and us?
She would excuse everyone else.
Good. Okay. I think I'd be making sure that that is in fact the case and no one's listening outside the doors or anything like that.
Whereas last time you were in, like, the ruined front of the building,
Mhm.
this is in, like, the vault that this
Good.
Shop had. Admittedly, it's like a vault with, like, fungal wood walls and things.
Yeah,
and
it's not going to be
it's
like...
not a spank vault, but it is a secure-ish location. Yeah, you got to be at least, like, level 3 to break into this one.
Or get lucky, but yeah, all right. I'm gonna be checking for anyone who's level 3 or very lucky.
If you want to give me like an insight roll, if anyone nearby could be trusted, like feel free.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's 18.
Kato is a pretty good judge of character, you guys notwithstanding.
Hey, we've done nothing but mediocre for this society. Thank you.
I've hurt you plotting against her on multiple occasions.
We've plotted
She
against
only
everybody.
tried to arrest you once, and that was mostly
Plotting
because she's
against other
lovesick.
people is like just
It's less-
a form of affection. Like if you haven't plotted against someone to find their
don't
death on at
respect
least
them.
3 occasions, are you even really friends?
That's my point. You don't respect them. That's the problem. If you
That's
haven't
actually
plotted
pretty
against them, you
valid.
don't.
Yeah.
I respect that. But
also,
she is
to be
keeping
fair, like-
people.
I was going to be fair, we have the best interests of the Drow people in our hearts.
That's what
different
everyone
interests.
says.
Are we the baddies?
Not yet.
Yes.
Maybe soon.
No, we've always been the baddies.
You could be the worsies.
I'm literally playing a lawful evil character. We are the baddies.
And yet you're such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Awful evil
Kato
doesn't
is
mean
keeping-
awful unnice.
Exactly.
Of the people that are getting commanded directly by her, they are paladins that are she clearly already had in high holding. There's no they're all fairly old. Like,
There's no young upstarts who are
there's
like,
no young upstarts. Kato
Okay, good.
would not really give them the time of day.
good.
So
That means
in
we're the only
Kato's
young upstarts.
in
this
Kato's
group.
court, you are really the only
Yeah.
potential
Threats?
whoopsies threats.
Threats.
But you're not your well, I guess you are a threat to yourself.
We're a threat to everybody, including and especially ourselves. Yeah. Okay. Then I am going to speak to Yuna, but very, very sneakily speak to Yuna, by not actually speaking and instead just say,
The coast is clear. No one appears to be listening in. Kato seems to be keeping a fairly close watch on who she's letting inside her court. Keep this between us as much as possible. Not what I just said, but what the dead person says.
Okay. Sure.
You okay? You're not.
Oh, Bradcast chatting with me. He said not to keep it quiet. Right? You said to
That's
keep the dead person
true.
quiet.
Sure. Yes. I don't know what just happened, but okay.
All right. So I'm gonna cast Speak with Dead.
Okay. The body's still being, the body is charred, but the back of the body was more damaged than the front. So it's, it's not even reanimation that Speak with Dead causes. It's just sort of Yuna's light glows from the eyes and mouth enough. Their neck rises slightly, but the spell clearly takes effect on the priestess that is here. What questions do you ask? And how many questions do you
What
get?
is your name?
5 questions.
5 questions. I am Aelon, priestess of Idrith.
It's nice to meet you, Aelon. Can you tell us how you died?
There were warriors of burning light and the slaves working in unison
I'll look to Kato and Rakath.
Kato's just got this very serious... She's not really looking at... She is actively faced the other way as you do this sort of spell, but she is clearly
Kato.
listening and thinking.
What would you like to know?
That's a good question. I don't think Kato necessarily has thought far enough to have a specific question in mind. It's hard enough trying to be the NPC getting spoke with dead, let alone give you more questions.
Raka?
Oh,
Do you
and
know
he'll-
why they killed you? In particular.
They wanted to eradicate us, but keep us away from the center of the palace. That was clear.
They were stalling.
and he'll come over and he'll whisper so that he doesn't ask the question by accident.
I have been very tempted to have that happen a couple of times while you guys have just been chatting.
Then we just have to wait 10 days in this room, Ollie.
We will wait 10 days in this room.
Who was leading them? Maybe is that a question we want to ask? Is who was leading them?
Do you know who was leading them?
There was... It was kept quiet, but there was a Ronin cast out who led the slaves, who worked with these devils of light.
The sword was left in your body. Do you know why?
I saw them running, leaving before the magic took hold. And,
Would have been nice to ask if they got out.
If they were running, that means they knew before it went off.
I imagine there was probably an initial impact and then a subsequent impact. Kato? Were there fast ways off of the high city? Secrets? Teleportations?
There were always private teleportation circles in and out. Many of the most high-ranking nobility had secret pathways. Many nobles had rings that would allow them to fall from great height in such danger.
Those rings, they take a while to get used to, though, don't they?
I am sure in the drama, many did not think of contingency plans.
Well, more
What
what
happened
I mean
clearly
is
happened
they
so
couldn't have been
quickly.
stolen and used for escape.
No.
Good. We canvassed the houses that have teleportation circles. I mean, not the ones up there, obviously, but the ones down here for anybody who might have tried to escape.
Let me think. There was definitely several within the church. But I think if the Sun Elves used the church to travel, we would have known about it far sooner.
Yes.
There were the people in charge of the farming district and the manufactory district had their own teleportation circles. The Slave Keepers Guild, of course, for private entry to the city. Although their base of operations is outside of the city. It could very well have been taken.
Cater, the slave rebellion thing that's happening, have they been organized, or have they? Was there a moment of disorganization at the start, or were they organized since the explosion?
The Slave Rebellion was very organized a season or so ago. And then they clearly were trying to stretch themselves too thin. But
Well,
If this information is to be believed, I could imagine that they got a new burst of life or energy.
What I'm asking is if we may be able to figure out if this Ronin escaped the high city. If the rebellion is now in disarray, then that might be why. But if there was no moment of disorganization after the explosion, if they were organized straight after, it's likely she got out. No, they got out.
She
That
nods.
assumes that the Ronin was in the High City in the first place. Led by doesn't necessarily mean on the front lines.
But
True. Well, this will still organize if they're alive or not.
Kato will go through. Clearly, it's a very ornate bowl, like large, like singing water bowl, is being used to store scrolls and things of information right now. And she'll take a specific one and kind of take it out of the casing. We'll say, "We knew quite well of the Weavers. We didn't deem them much of a threat. I know of this map will take you to their base of operations. If the Ronin is there, that would be a grave misstep. But you could get information from them, and if not, I'm sure you could gather information from whatever they've left behind. I do not believe the Weavers would currently be there. They're currently taking what part of the city they can."
How far out of the city is this?
This is under the city, where you say the Chitin currently are. Old ruins of where our ancestors first broke stone.
If we are going down there, we can deal with some of the Chitin on the way, but we need forces to get through there and deal with the Chitin so it's not obvious that we're going there. If it's obvious we're going there, it means that we are making an attack openly against the Weavers, and while they may be being dealt with somewhat right now, we cannot have that be the first apparent action that we take. The city needs to unify, not divide, and if we are taking a divisive action, which this would be, then we need to make it not appear so.
If we openly attack the Reavers right now, would it be good or bad? Yes, it is a ritual.
The result is of woe. But she would shake her head and say, I am not telling you to attack the Weavers, I'm telling you to gather information.
The provoking it may not be the same as attack, but it may prompt the same response.
You four are famously neutral.
Yes.
I am sure you could travel quietly through the realms of currently controlled by the Chitin and enter where the Weavers once controlled. If there are still Weavers there, you could talk your way past them. Fighting would be very bad for everyone. I'm not asking you to fight them.
Who is the Ronin that leads them?
I do not know their name. There are many Ronin who are cast out of the city for crimes against the bonds they have made. This one, I know, wore their brand quite proudly, used it as a sign of honor, which spoke very well to the degenerate slaves that she was controlling.
There is no honor in forsaking your duties, no matter how ill you've grown of them.
The Mad Priestess saw quite a lot of usage in Ronin. A lot of them gathered skills. She very unsubtly looks to Yuna. Skills that would be frowned upon within the city walls. And wanted to use many of them in this war. Clearly this Ronin had the same thought process. There are rumors that she was working with the band of assassins and terrorists working their way through the nobility of the city. The high circle for Daimao's comrades.
The ones that The ones that attacked Tanuma?
The ones that attacked Tanuma, yes.
We will need to unify them. They will not join with us of their own volition if they know they will simply be returned to a life of slavery.
What is their missive?
I
What
feel
is
as
their
though it's
goal?
obvious. Freedom.
Freedom is a state. It is not a purpose. What is their purpose? What do they want beyond freedom? Did they want lives? Did they want jobs? Did they want society? Did they want family? All of the things that you're robbed of as a slave are the end goal. Freedom is nothing. Freedom is nothing without the actual desire behind it. So what did they want? What were they unified under?
Kato shakes her head. If it is not on the scroll, I do not know it in this case. But I will agree with you. In previous rebellions, there was much more of a call to arms. This was quiet and disorganized, and they lost more fights than they won. They were, most times, quite useless, quite pointless.
Distractions. When sending an assassin, you don't need a full-on rebellion. You just need pockets.
It would be quite wise of a Ronin to use slaves who would fight for any cause to fight for her own. That was a theory that was thrown around some of the samurai, that the weavers were never about the slaves themselves.
How many more of those scrolls do you have with information?
This is the only one with the map that I currently have.
May I?
Please.
Thank you.
As they are no longer... As many weavers have been seen about the city, I doubt they would still be there. The map most likely won't serve much usage to us in defending against them. But they would be foolish to attack this position.
I wouldn't rule anything out.
Foolish is exactly what people do during times like this.
And Rakath looks out in the direction towards where the looters were hung up and being slashed away at.
Boss is right, unifying. It's the way forward. Without that, this city falls. It just does. If not now, then in the future. And we have too much to lose for that.
I do not know what you speak of. Those people had a chance to go up the rungs of society as you have. They have been given this absolute freedom, and with it they have turned to chaos. And that is why many of them have died.
Rakath walks over to Kato and just puts his hand gently on her shoulder and just says,
I didn't have a chance. I didn't. I was gifted things. People are not always gifted things. Without those gifts from Yuna and her family, especially from Yuna and her family, I don't know where I would be. I was in their dungeon. I was just another prisoner who might have information. That's all I was, and I didn't even know why I was there. I happened to be good at giving out pain. That's not anything other than a gift. Everyone has their own gifts, but those gifts aren't always recognized within a society. And a climb is not always possible. Not unless it's gifted. That's something that everyone here at this level right now, has an opportunity to give to those people. A gift. A true opportunity to be a part of this society, to rebuild Narashiro. Without that rebuild, we are all going to be vulnerable to those bastards from the surface who took our loved ones away from us.
You can give me a persuasion roll.
You roll a 17.
Plus 5.
You want.
Sure, yeah, I'll take it. 17 plus 5.
leave this
So
to-
22.
Kato's expression never really changes through all of this. Such
There'll
a
be
change.
a moment during. Oh, sorry, go on.
Such a change would not go well with the people that currently assist me. But
Even from a practical standpoint, do we even have enough ability to keep track of the slave population at this point?
exactly. The many records were destroyed. And if records are destroyed, how could one keep track? A law freeing all slaves would go down with more fire and blood. It would cause a war. Coincidences causing slaves to temporarily be free for a generation or two until things change could work. Although I would need to have more counsel with some priestesses and think on this more.
Unifying is definitely the way to go. My people didn't do that, and it didn't end well.
Rakath looks very sad at Rofi for a moment before returning his gaze to Kato and just says,
"Speak to who you need to speak to, but the church is divided right now, and there will be those who try to take advantage of it. Be ever vigilant." I've said it to you 12 times already, and I'm so sorry, but I worry about you, Kato. I worry about this as a course. The church is dividing. You are, as far as we can tell, the de facto leader. You need to be cautious. Those you trust, I'm glad you keep them around you.
People do stupid things, as we were saying before. Don't rule anything out. Anything.
She gives a strong nod to Rofi and hands Rakath the scroll with the map. And
Thank you, Kato.
look into this. And tell me the state of this area when you travel through it.
The Shatine, the people. I
Fight.
don't expect it to be pretty.
The Chitine, if you must, travel past them, fight them on the way back, if you want to fight them at all.
They have a leader. Tiax.
We parlayed with him once. We might be able to do it again.
If I
Absolutely.
It might be harder this time. And he's going to look at Una and Voss, but we might still be able to do it.
Yes, we might.
Chitina are cursed creatures. You might be able to buy some time with them, you might be able to make peace with them, but whatever society we rebuild on these ruins cannot have them as a cornerstone. Unfortunately for them.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I warn you, we're going to face opposition with the Slave Keepers Guild too. And they are currently quelling in the manufacturing and farming districts. They could land foothold. I know you need to speak with your priestesses.
I will try and reach contact with them, although perhaps it might be best that I do not.
I would think not.
and is the Trader's Run table in here at the moment?
Yeah!
Good. I'm going to take one of my Trader's Run pieces, and I'm going to take one of the Samurai pieces,
Uh-huh.
and I am going to place it where Kato stands there and just say,
A symbolic guard. We're here. We will be here. If we move forward together on this, I think we might have enough people.
and he looks over to Voss.
If we move together to rebuild.
And he leaves.
Okay.
I don't know
Kato,
if
there
anyone else
is
has
something I would like to give you, if you want it. And I'm going to take out a sphere, glass orb. I can project my soul and see into the High City and what has become of it, and I can share my thoughts with yours. So you may see it. Is this something you would like? Or would that be too awful?
It might
I'm trying to be a good person, but I think I might just be bad.
It might be useful in time. We might need all the resources we have.
The magic up there might interfere. There's a lot of it still out there.
I'm gonna do it regardless. I'm gonna cast Clairvoyance.
Okay.
I think we're close to it. I think we're within a
Oh.
mile.
You can get, a good view of the crater.
You might want to check out the center of the storm.
Yeah, so what
Yeah,
you
I
really
wanna see what's
get
going on out
is a better view of the storm, right? Because from here it's just like clouds in the distance, because the distance is very high. Clouds form above the city. Up close you can see the maelstrom. Swirling aether magic just kind of
Is there just
subsiding of
nowhere for
itself.
that energy to go?
It seems like it's kind of, there's so much, it's keeping itself running, if that makes sense.
Oh,
There's
self-perpetuating.
Yeah, that's the phrase. It's like a self-perpetuating storm of aether magic that, isn't really... Where it seems to hit the rock, it has almost turned it into this kind of obsidian, opaline material. But there's no aether crystals there to kind of control it, and even if it was, it wouldn't really do anything like that. So
I'm
yeah.
not sure that with a Rofi, with an
Ooh.
incoming thought, that he can see it.
I like that. I also like the idea that while you're sharing it with him, he's like looking at nothing as if he's watching, and then his hands are just writing all these notes that you have no
Rofi's
idea how to...
creepy!
Yep.
Don't forget it.
I'll like do like a little like calm down gesture because we're trying to be respectful to Kato. Like, don't look too excited.
Oh, right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we could find out how to harness
As
this.
we leave, Voss will just hang back for 1 second, so it's just him and Kato, and just say to her, "We are going to make a lot of decisions in the coming days and months and years that will shape our society for the next age. And while our society may have fallen once or more in the past and has risen again, we have an opportunity to see that it rises never to fall again. And while I know it is tempting to cling to some things, I would also remind you of your own book's teachings when it comes to letting go of the past. Things will have to change lest this happen again."
She lets out a very small smile. You're almost correct, Voss. I am going to have to make a lot of decisions. And then
When she says that, I'll just nod, and as I leave, just say, "Well, see that you make room for at least one demon in this new world that you craft."
She says nothing more. And you can leave. And this is a great place for us to take a little break. So we'll be back.
Thank God. I have to pee so badly.
You have to poob.
No.
No. No.
How would it not be scheming?
It's more plotting, really, but
Plotting, scheming, it's a bit of both.
Why not? Both?
I think scheming is when there's a little bit more wiggle room. A plot suggests you've got a very rigid plan.
That's true.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
true.
actually argue that this is more scheming rather than plotting because we
That's
haven't
what I'm
actually
saying, yeah.
planned
I
something
think
out.
it's finagling, really. But
Nah,
Well,
scheming.
I think it's semantics, but you know, we can all agree to disagree.
Technically-
I think we can all
Everything
agree
is
we
semantics.
finagled our way through this entire campaign.
That's what
pretty
this
much-
campaign is. Finagling and shenaniganizing.
As soon as I have the opportunity to take another feat, I am taking everybody's friend as the feat. So it's
Imagine
That's the
having
campaign.
That's
Right.
the Torturous Tavern is just cheers.
it is. I was really waiting for somebody else to pick up on
everybody
that.
knows your true name.
Raka! We've even done that before. Oh, I'm mad about it. So, what's your plan? You have a mission, but you don't have to. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, what's our scheme, guys?
So
We're gonna go make friends, right?
first things first.
Yes.
I'm gonna go walk over to the people who are being lashed at the moment because I left before everybody else did. So just to-
In a show of mercy, they are still alive. They're actually being taken down from the spiderwebs right now, and actually being bandaged up by a serpent priestess.
Oh, good. Okay. I was just gonna ask what the plan is for them. So I was gonna find whoever seemed to be in charge there, and
You could ask. It's there's a priestess.
Yes.
One of the few who is openly wearing a mixture of ivory and green.
Interesting.
And she would say, "It is not worth their death for their greed in this time. They're punished. They won't do it again. People are making mistakes when in such uncertain times, and we understand that."
Good. Because I think we can put them to use. As we can put everybody to use in this time. Everybody needs to be working towards the rebuilding of this city. We can always use more scouts. I've organized a group of them down at the Torturer's Tavern. Down in the lower city. That's where a lot of the danger is right now.
And they would work for us.
They would work for me and I work for you, so...
Very well.
One degree of separation, but...
If you would allow me to make contact, we need to check on what parts of the city can be made livable again. And those who hide in their homes should know that time is safe.
Yes, that would be good. You'll want to speak with Roger, down at the Torturer's Tavern. He's currently organizing the scouting parties, very specifically. Well...
What a strange exotic name.
Yes, I know. I've always found him quite fascinating, though he is a little bit sleepy, from what I have gathered. But, well, we all are at different times. Ando, who is, you may know him as the corpse collector. He's made quite a name for himself, but he is also organizing a group to make sure that those who are slain in the lower districts are brought to proper rest.
That is responsible.
Yes. So, Roger first, and then likely Ando next in terms of contact, as they will have the information going on from there.
She nods.
And if you're going to send these ones down, send them to Roger. I don't think that, given their wounds, it would be smart to put them around decaying corpses. They may garner diseases.
Okay.
Let's bounce.
Down to where the map leads.
I think that's a plan.
Okay.
Right
I want to
now?
specifically go back to where we met the Shatine in the.
You're gonna go back to that specific place? Okay.
that specific place.
Please, can all of you give me perception checks?
Yarp.
Oh boy. Give me that +0.
It could be worse.
Because this involves going through pretty much most parts of the city to get there, although there's parts that are easily avoided. It's very quiet, and Narashiro was always a quiet city. Drow are not the kind of people who be like, "Hey, yo, what are you," like, on the side of the street. But it is even quieter. As that priestess just said, a lot of people are clearly just staying inside their homes, and admittedly, because they're elves, that's not, like, they're going to be fine.
They're just waiting it out.
They're just waiting it out. That's what most people are doing. Very occasionally, you see a couple of weavers acting like drunken hooligans at the end of a night out. Running around.
Drunk?
Hard to tell, but that's kind of the best way to describe the activities you see. You see them, like, running between the streets, like, throwing paint around.
What color paint?
Any. They noticeably don't have any unifying color. The only thing unifying about them is how ununified their outfits are. They usually have chunks of manufactorium armor, which is red, because they went to war with that area. But that's it. And it's not like one person's wearing a whole suit. Like, one you see is wearing the helmet, the other is wearing, like, the pauldrons and the greaves and stuff.
Right.
Like, it's a weird hodgepodge
children.
of stuff. They're
They're
children.
behaving like children, yeah.
They're
Okay.
I'm
behaving
gonna
like...
use prestidigitation and clean up the paint.
As
How
we
rude.
go.
As we go.
Yeah, fair.
You're the good guys. When you get down to the area of the city you saw Vachitin in before, the area around the Torturous Tavern, borderline slums, very brutalistic, just harsh stone architecture. Voss, you actually notice something. A lot of the buildings here are ruined. Really, a lot of them were ruined before any of this chaos started. In the area where you saw the Chitine before, and you kind of stand there, and it was a bit of like a circle. There is a fire pit in the middle that all of you can pretty much tell. Yeah, this was lit like yesterday, but not now. It's smoldered out. Doesn't appear to be any Chitines in the nearby area in the kind of fallen pillars and stone. But Voss, you notice something. You notice a spectral hand going into the pockets of a body. And this is the only place where you see, like, bodies on the street. And only really this area where the Chitines have clearly been. It slowly takes the coin purse from the pocket and opens it. And takes a gold coin, puts it into, like, the palm. Takes another gold coin, puts it into the palm. Takes a silver coin, puts it aside, and continues doing basically that.
Is it only the silver coins it's putting aside?
Voss is the only one who sees.
Voss, is it only the silver coins that they're putting
I
aside?
mean, yeah, that's still.
It
valid
also
question.
puts aside a bronze coin when it comes across one. Only
Okay.
interested in the gold.
Yeah, so
It's got a maximum weight, and it's
doesn't want
an
the
adventurer.
doesn't want the trash currency. Gotcha. Okay. Can I roll an Arcana check to see if I know what
Sure.
that is?
Yeah.
I know what that is, but does Voss know what that is? Nope.
Nope.
Nope. That's weird shit.
Yeah. So, seeing as I don't know shit about Dick, I will just point in that general direction, just say, "That's peculiar."
That's unusual.
Huh.
Yuna,
What?
what is that?
Yuna can easily tell it is the cantrip Mage Hand being cast by something. Because, you know, when it comes to spells, you know, then, you know, it's not... Everyone does it differently, but in Narashiro, something as like a Mage Hand is common enough.
They.
So a thief is using Mage Hand.
Wait, is there
Looter rather than thief necessarily, to be fair.
is there limitations to Mage Hand? Do you have to be within sight? Do you have to be within a certain distance?
For you magically inclined, you can kind of see the trail. Each hand leaves a trail.
Ooh.
And it trails off into the darkness behind some pillars of one of the ruined buildings.
Can you point out to me where that's going?
Because I'm slightly magically inclined, but I imagine not
You
quite
can roll me a
magically
perception check to look and foresee where the trail leads.
Nope.
It's dark down here.
It is. There's no light. There's no aether light. There's the smallest amount of embers in the fire, which actually leaves quite a lot of light. It's smoldered to such a point where there's a bit of
It's
light.
dim. Would you say it is dim?
But
light?
where this goes is too dark for you.
So, yeah. Well, so he knows the direction then, where it goes?
You know pretty
Okay,
much
then,
wherever the person who's casting the spell is, roughly.
Rofi's actually gonna say, so it's not around suspicion, it's at and he'll position himself, my 6 o'clock.
It's not around suspicion as we stand here watching.
I'm gonna make a stealth check and try and go around to where Rofi's 6 o'clock is in a kind of roundabout way.
Please do.
If possible. It's 14.
14's pretty good.
Could be worse. Given that I
Let me
rolled a
check.
7, I'm pretty okay with
Check
it.
to see what a Tarrasque's passive perception is.
It's a Taras casting mage hand. You got me.
The Tarrasque with wizard levels.
First of all, amazing. If this is how I go, this is how I go.
In the darkness, a giant eye just goes.
Yeah.
Come on, little one.
So,
Oh.
Rakath, you start moving quietly and carefully through the ruined buildings. Through the smoke of the fire towards where this spell is being cast. As you get close, you kind of accidentally bump into whatever it is. Which is weird, because you're looking at the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of bump into the feet, which are kind of hanging above the ground.
Oh, okay.
You,
I'm gonna grab
like a horror movie, look up, and it is a dead drow. Clearly from the Palace Arcanum. You've seen these robes before.
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful, very brilliant. And then you look up even further, and plunged into the neck are the fangs of a creature. A giant spider-like creature whose eyes focus down on you.
I'm gonna whistle really loudly and quickly. I'm not gonna do it because
That'll scare the monster away.
No, that will notify my friend.
I know, I get it. Whenever whistling comes up, it reminds me of one of the early D&D things that happened in Jarviskjir when doing a little dungeon in a cave. One of my players used their signal whistle to try and scare the monsters away. The monsters who didn't all know that they were being attacked. So that attracted every monster in the dungeon who were bugbears, who were smart, to the same location, so they got party wiped.
Yeah.
Because
That'll do it.
all of them at once.
So this is just Rakath doing his own whistle. He does have a signal whistle. He's not using his
I
signal
know. I just wanted to tell you that little story.
I just want to point that out, that I'm not using the signal whistle because that is dangerous. Apparently.
Who knows what terrible creatures could come from the dark.
I actually have 2 signal whistles because apparently I'm a weird
Oh,
person
you could
who
double
bought
fist
2.
it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Can I stab this thing before we, like, are you taking long enough that I can stab this thing?
No,
Okay,
I'm
just
taking
checking.
long enough because I didn't know where you would be on the battle map.
Okay, fair enough. Reasonable.
So please, roll initiative.
Please roll
Just a
initiative.
little tidbit of a creature. I'm actually going to
13.
retract this fire a bit because I described it being smaller than I originally made on this map. So it's only going to have a little bit of light.
Let's hope it rolls a low initiative. Because we all did.
Well, 13 is above average.
Yep.
In 12.
Well, I
okay.
somehow managed to bounce the dice on top of a biro.
Ooh. Well done.
Unfortunately, it cocked perfectly in the middle.
Perfect.
Which should count as a 20, but it doesn't.
It does not.
But I still get a good roll anyway, so...
Yeah, okay.
You
all
know.
right.
Quite fitting.
Twice.
Alright,
I'm annoyed
time
that
to-
this spider can cast Mage Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's a terrifying thought.
As this happens, you
8
see
mages.
drooling saliva come from the fangs of the creature. And the a snapping of bone and the pulling of tendons on a dead body, a noise you know quite well.
Yeah.
As the dead body in the fangs moves its arms like a puppet, casting a spell, magic
good.
weaving around its fingers, a little clumsily, but
Yeah.
still quite successfully.
Yep.
And you actually recognize the symbols that are being formed.
Oh, good.
I've seen Univara cast this spell before,
Uh-huh.
as it casts haste on the spider.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Problem. Problem.
Luckily, that counts as the spider's turn. So it is Rakath next.
Okay. So I'm going to shout out.
Spider using a dead mage to cast spells. Problem.
I really wanted that to be a very long description shouted with that much urgency. I mean, it was still pretty long.
It was still pretty long. I'm going to try something a little weird, and you can let me know
Oh.
how well this is going to work. I'm going to try and cut the body away from the spider's fangs.
Absolutely.
And just so you know, because when I was sneaking around instinctively, I had my parrying dagger out as well. So right now my
Yep,
AC
yep.
is 18.
As
I'm-
note, as this spell is cast, the spider like rises up further.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still totally do it.
Okay. I am going
Rises up
to...
very far on its armored legs.
So 17 to try and... I'm
You
trying to
just
cut
don't
it.
have dice anymore. It's forbidden. It's
Okay.
illegal.
Okay.
17 does not hit. As you go
Okay.
into the strike, a thing moves with incredible speed backwards,
Haste.
like a horrifying stop-motion creature.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try and stab with my parrying dagger to do the same thing then, I guess. Oh, that was
That's
worse.
a miss.
Yeah.
Creature moves too fast, all while letting out horrible spider clickery noises. And the sort of just sound of the dead body flapping around in its jaws as well.
Good. Yeah, good. I'm just gonna stay where I am. I can't see shit. I can see this thing.
Voss!
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, really you should have totally had disadvantage on those checks, but we'll remember that next time.
I can still see him in front of me, but...
Yeah, but you are in
Oh, there he
darkness.
is.
You can
Fair
see because I let you see things
gotcha.
next to you in
Sure.
So otherwise it's not a complete fucker
Yeah,
mess.
next level this won't be a problem. But for right now, this is still a problem.
I'm just gonna shoot him with my bow because that's all I can really
You got
do
vision?
at this juncture.
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh yeah,
Look at
that's
that.
him.
He
Hell
cast
yeah.
haste. He cast haste.
The
Alright.
creature ducks low and starts to move forward, but then you hit it with another shot. Armored carapace face. Carapace face. Name my band.
There you go.
Roll damage
Sounds-
whenever you're ready.
20 damage.
Oh, I just didn't see that because roll 20 doesn't work anymore.
That is
That's a
10
full time.
and a 9 plus 1.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
Damn.
brilliant hit. When it does hit, the whole thing reels back, and it's like still like legs stagger back awkwardly.
Does he drop
Fourth.
concentration is the real question.
It does have to make a check. It does not. It rolls a 20.
Great.
Which means I've got a 20 out of my luck pool for today.
That's my
Yuna!
turn.
I'm gonna cast haste.
Who is
We'll get it.
faster? This Sunday, Spider versus Drow! Rofi.
And yeah, I'm gonna.
What's the difference?
Oh, you got more?
Actually, I get to move right here.
Awesome. Rofi.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's as far as I can move. Is it far enough? No. It's also straight through a pillar there, so I can't do that.
If you can see it, you can shoot it, but
Yes,
you will.
but-
It does have full cover from that particular.
yes, and
Which is a
doing.
+5 AC, if I remember correctly.
I would
so-
actually stop here instead because they're too far away to shoot. So I'm going to. I'm going to do the thing that I always do.
Oh,
But how are you
popping in
gonna
on-
do it?
Popping a +1 on Voss's armor.
Boop.
What he's doing.
On the armor or the sword?
Yep. Is it, I thought I couldn't. Can I add another +1 to his sword with that?
You could do it to
'Cause it
your
turns it-
sword instead, or sword or armor.
His sword
A
is
magical
currently a
+1.
He's
His
asking
sword
if
is
it's
already a
axed,
magical
but
+1.
The back of the sword is enchanted.
If I can add that to his sword
Yeah,
as
you
well,
can add
then
another
yes, I'm
one,
adding
yeah.
that to his sword. Yeah,
It doesn't state otherwise.
definitely, definitely adding that to his sword. Then yeah.
Uh-oh. Voss with +2 key weapon. Uh-oh.
And that's gonna be my turn, I think.
Okay. The
Yeah,
spider
fuck.
is going
Yes.
to
Uncanny
shift
dodge.
and move and kind of bringing the body up.
Yep.
Like curling, like
Uh-huh.
if you pull all the strings on a puppet at once and it like crumples, it is
Uh-huh.
going to lay down and bite at Rakath,
Uh-huh.
which is
18
going to
AC
be
for
a
now.
hit.
Okay.
Please give me
uncanny
a
dodge.
Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Uncanny dodging, so this will all be fine, probably. Nope, 11.
Lucky for you, while it does grab you with like its secondary fangs, it doesn't. There's enough force. It does lift you off the ground,
Yep.
but then it lets go of you very deliberately.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's going to deal 18 piercing damage.
Right.
The poison makes you
Yes.
fall unconscious.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
So you are just going to thump heavily, like a sack of taters, onto the ground.
Uh-huh.
Very cool.
Glad that that happened. Okay. And I'm assuming I have no way to resolve this,
Save at the end of your turn.
which
Kinda
is
banger.
soon. Okay. Cool. Don't forget that it's hasted, so it's
I
moving.
am. I'm just trying to think how much thing would move. And I think not that much. It's kind of gonna hide back in the shadows. It's actually gonna drag Rakath out of the shadows a little bit as it goes.
Hey! I can see more things now, only slightly.
You're unconscious, mister! Those eyes stay closed. Please give
sorry.
me a Constitution save at the end of your turn.
Okay. Nope.
What'd you get?
Still a 7.
Yeah, that is a failure. Voss.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna do some movement. So I use my movement and I can get here, 60 feet. Then I'm gonna use my special haste action to dash, which will allow me another 60 feet. Which puts me beside this.
Wow! What a
I'll use my-
handsome young boy!
Then I'll use my bonus action to Fighting Spirit to get advantage in some
Let me
sweet
finagle this.
hit points.
Here we go.
And then I would like to attack him twice.
Please do.
And this is
Haste
also
versus haste.
another +1 on top of whatever this roll is. So let's see how it plays out. Okay, that's a crit.
Oh
Great
no!
weapon master.
Attack
See
number
that.
2 is a 14.
That's a
But you know
miss.
what? That's a
Plus 2.
31 damage.
31 damage is pretty top.
Oh,
That's
you
like
went out.
slicing
That's
off
big.
a leg. And these legs are like some spiders have giant spiders have kind of they're so big their legs almost become fleshy. This is an armored, almost beetle-like creature. You know, clearly a spider, but the leg like takes a good angled hack and you can cleave it off and spray brownish ichor all over you.
Yikes. I'm really hoping that was enough damage to make him drop haste.
It does have to get a really good con save. It fails.
Sick.
That's good news. That
That
is
is
very
very
good news.
The thing stops and slows, nearly dropping the body out of its jaws as it's crumpled up very close and it just... But it's still hanging in there.
Okay, that's my turn.
You know.
I think I'm just gonna move and dash this turn.
Would make sense.
Yeah, I can get like right there.
Okay. Rofi.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please be within 60 feet. Aha!
It is.
Success! Then I am going to take a shot at it, and I have twinification loaded.
Yes.
So the buzzing and almost vibrating hand cannon is finally gonna. Come on, please hit.
No!
Two different directions.
Two different...
Ah!
Ricochet.
How many team did he kill with that shot?
My leg!
I had a family!
My cabbages! Forbidden.
Yes.
The creature
Yep.
is not going to get a turn. Let me just check it's a little...
I know that feeling. Feels bad.
When haste is dropped?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it that you lose a turn or just you lose your action?
You just
You
do
lose your
nothing.
movement and actions.
Movement and actions.
Uh,
That's rough.
You can take a reaction and that's it.
Boy.
yes. But this thing has some stuff it can do.
that's good.
Outside of its actions. But all you really see it doing, Voss, as it's staggered and slowed, and you know exactly what just happened.
Yeah.
You know this feeling, and it kind of stumbles back, missing a leg. You don't know that feeling. You see it's the muscles, or insectoid equivalent. I guess everything works on tiny pistons, really. But that's what a muscle is if you think about it. That's more metaphysical than what I'm trying to describe here. The jaws, the fangs dig in deeper. You kind of see the actual like fang mandibles tense and suck noticeably suck up a kind of bluish, pinkish energy through the fangs.
Okay.
Rakath, please roll me a Constitution save.
Okay.
Hey! At the end of your turn, you get up feeling like when you've had a really good nap and all your limbs feel weak.
Yes.
You got that.
Okay.
Voss.
Well, we're gonna just fighting spirit
Fighting a
and
spider.
attack him for the double numbers throws me every time. It happens a lot. Okay, so I'm assuming that's a miss. But the second one is
also a miss.
Dodge critical fail, and the third attack.
Yes!
Oh, that's much better.
21.
One attack hitting from a Voss turn is good odds for me.
Right. Yeah. So
It's like you don't have that initial, like, charge bonus, so your strikes just... Like, you can hit the creature, it's not moving quickly, but the actual shell is incredibly tough.
Yeah.
What damage did you deal? It didn't roll.
24 altogether. Yeah. That's me.
Yuna.
Bless you, William.
You're muted if you are talking the language.
You are muted.
No! I'm gonna cast Essence Trap as a low spell. It's gonna roll like a 4 or whatever.
Like
You're
a 4.
Your other
Good
portion
job,
was a 2.
divination wizard. You have one job.
gonna roll like a 4 or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, just,
The
was a low
stars are
number.
fickle today.
doing an
Guess
nails.
what?
You
It's
roll,
gonna
you roll
fail.
like a 2.
It fails. Feel free to roll damage.
Well, it's good to know it doesn't have a plus 10 modifier to charisma.
Yeah, this is only from Tome of Beasts, not my homebrew. Although Tome of Beasts having a plus 10 modifier, I wouldn't put it
Not
past them.
unusual.
30 charisma.
Alright,
That was an unfortunate
the
roll.
spider
Fast.
takes it. Rofi.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take a normal shot against it this time.
That's yeah.
That's a hit.
Yeah.
I thought the haste made that one miss when I swung it before.
Yeah, that's a real good one.
That's a real good strike. The creature, like, ricochets back, finally free of the lethargy. Kind of shakes its head, making the body flap back and forth like a ragdoll in its mouth.
Eep.
And it is actually going to wheel backwards. Skittering back here. Voss, you do get an attack of opportunity if you wish to take it.
Yeah, I'll do that. Cool. It's a 9.
Big Dumbus.
Oh, hello, friend. You have reappeared.
It's
by my
actually
side.
going to go here. It's not going to go into melee. And the body kind of lifeless and then tenses and weaves a spell.
Oh, good.
And a crackling
Great, fine.
static forms in the air.
Glad to hear.
Can Rakath, Yuna, and Rofi all give me dexterity saves as a bolt of lightning cascades through the chamber?
Don't want to.
Fucking
Well, you got it.
God damn it.
Nice.
It's ramping up. I like that.
I
The
literally
spell,
rolled a 5.
the spell being clumsy, and like the magic kind of faltering to form gives you two enough time to duck out of the way.
I'm still
Rakath's
on the
like
ground.
gets fucking toasted. Let me roll
Glad to
the
hear it.
damage.
Do we take half or?
You're going to take half.
We'll take half.
You're going
I
to
do
take
not.
half of 38, which is
I'm
going to be
unconscious.
19 lightning damage.
I'm unconscious.
Alright.
You just took the brunt of it. You're just
I've done nothing this entire fight because he got haste off before I could even attack him. So I'm
clever boy.
It's
Nice. Sick.
I need to roll.
No, that's
Oh.
You
good.
do.
Sorry.
No, that keeps it up, doesn't it?
No. 30.
No,
well,
not
19.
not
You
against
took-
the 19.
19.
Well, you the same.
Oh,
is at
19
it's
halved.
half of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're good. Yeah.
You're good. Yeah.
You just needed to make a 10.
You're right.
You're fine.
Sorry.
No, that's a
That's a natural 1 death.
Oh my
So that's 2 points of failure for me.
Rakath is looking.
Man, wouldn't it be
Toasty.
useful if we had someone who had spare the dying as a cantrip?
Is that
who wasn't
you?
unconscious?
Is it you who has that?
Yes, it is.
Remember how I described the priestess being stuck to the floor from the explosion?
Uh-huh.
Rakath is kind of reliving that in this moment. Voss. The creature is clearly injured. It's stumbling back on one of its legs. You've fought spellcasters before. They pull out the big guns when they are trying to get away. Clearly running away, clearly badly injured.
I'm gonna move here.
Uh-huh.
As I'm walking up, I'm going to cast a spell. I'm gonna cast a lift, so it has to make a strength save.
Strength save on a giant spider.
You got it.
What's your DC?
I believe it's 15.
15? You're fucking...
Or sorry, 13.
I was gonna say.
The
Sounds
sheet. It's because it's 8, not 5. Yeah, 13. is
It
what
gets
I
a
was
14 and passes, so that's why I was vocal about that.
saying. In that case, it's just gonna get attacked 3 times. Great.
Why
Oh, no.
3?
2.
Because of haste.
Lift is
Yeah.
bonus.
Lift is a bonus
it's
action.
bonus. Okay.
Correct.
I saw that. I just... We had a post about how you're using haste. I would like an occasionally description of how the turn economy is going.
Yes. So I'm assuming the first one hits. I'm assuming
was the
second
The
first
first one was a 1.
Uh,
The 1 does not hit.
You rolled a
What?
1
The
and
Yeah.
first
a 10.
one, the first one was an 18, and then I rolled a 1, and then I rolled
Okay, this is why you need to go slowly and tell me each one, because Roll20 doesn't work anymore.
Roll 20.
You can't do all your rolls at once. It does, that is not an option anymore. And really it never was, because that's Garbo. An 18 does hit, 25. It's not a kill.
10. Great. And then I'm assuming the nat 1 and a 10 total miss.
Yeah, those two missed. That's why we were like, excuse me.
Yes. That would...
I'm going to assume my 1 hits.
No, that's the one
We-
that hits and just kills Rakath on the
Yeah, we were very confused.
Just on the back
like-
swing, just
Yeah.
a...
and you're dead.
Yeah, look at the stream
Congratulations.
cam. That's super weird. Yeah, no, whatever.
Roll20 doesn't work anymore. They've
Yeah,
been trying to
that's-
fix it for like 2 weeks. Hopefully they do. You know. There are competitors.
You are muted again.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking quietly
You're
to
just
myself.
quiet. Why are you
Yeah.
being so quiet?
This
I
used to happen to
was
me all the
talking. I
time.
get
Where
words in
people,
my
people are
Under
like,
my breath.
oh,
Okay.
why are you quiet? No, I'm just mouthing something. I'm just being a shitlord back here.
It's
Don't
either
mind
that
me.
or using my fingers, and one of those is less embarrassing. So,
We all use our fingers on this stream.
Hmm.
and I'm gonna use a healing potion, which is 2d4
Plus 2.
plus 2.
2d4.
Ne-
Well
Nearly.
done. We remember.
You reminded her.
It was
Forbidden.
loud.
It's like when you're encouraging Unbab.
Is that on me that you're using that, or on
Yes.
you that you're using that?
Yeah, I'm taking it myself.
You just
Just
come
Okay.
over and
front of
lean
you,
in his
just
face
rub it
and
in.
drink the potion.
Hi, you are dying. Glug, 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 glug.
Bet you'd
my
like
failures-
this, wouldn't you?
Ollie, do my failures reset from a death?
Yes.
Okay,
Every time.
this is good. That's a positive thing. I am happy.
It's the only, it's the
Because
only
I will-
reason Derek lasted that long is the
Fair.
resets.
Yep, fair.
And I will bonus action continue Essence Trap.
Rufus.
Okay, does that thing have any metal on it?
No, there's reason to believe that the spellcaster in its mouth has metal on it, but that would probably just burn
Yeah.
the spellcaster.
In that case, I guess I'm just gonna. Wrong thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my god, we're all in such a sick line right now.
Yeah,
Good. Perfect for
yeah.
it casting lightning bolt again while I just went unconscious and will inevitably go unconscious again.
Lightning never strikes the same place twice,
It
William.
absolutely does.
I'm actually
Thanks,
gonna
guys.
use my bonus action to load a twinification shot. And I'm gonna fire again.
I hope you kill it. 'Cause otherwise
Me
we're fucked.
too.
They're both hits! One
That
more
is why you
so.
use twinification.
Yeah, you're basically just using Voss's strategy of if I attack as many times as possible, eventually I'll hit.
Exactly.
That's the strategy I used on my Dex Barbarian.
Yeah.
If I attack
came
as
to the
many times as
realization-
possible.
Yeah, I came to the realization that while Elemental Overload is nice if I hit, twinification, like, just all round is probably a better idea most of the time.
There's times where you want that extra bonus damage.
Yeah, no, it depends. Like, it depends. Like, if you want the elemental damage,
Rofi, please describe this kill.
oh, okay.
God.
So, Rofi sees what's going on, just panic loads the twinification shot, lines it up, just angles it just right, fires, and one shot goes through the head of the thing that of the spellcaster it's holding, and the other shot goes straight through the forehead of the spider.
Great.
Pop, pop.
Yeah! Pop,
The double tap.
Yep.
pop, double tap, the thing just collapses.
Rofi is not sure which one's alive. Like
That is entirely
you know.
reasonable, to be fair. The thing just collapses in a pile with a spray of ichor on the wall behind. And also brains.
Whew. That worked. Are you okay, Ragath?
Huh? What? What?
He's okay. He was just taking a little nap. Give Brakat the hug.
He's just a little barbecued.
Okay.
Are we cooking?
That's you. That's you.
I smell good. I think I have a bun in my.
Alright, let's take a little break. And we'll be back one day.